This video is going to be about the congressional bills that have been passed and have become law. You can access all this information that I'm showing you by going to congress.gov, clicking on the events button, choosing the 115th Congress, and clicking on the became law checkbox. Now, Donald Trump became inaugurated in January 20th, I believe. So actually, this HR 39 isn't one that passed under Donald Trump's presidency. So I'm going to focus on a little bit on, HR 72, HR 255, S 84, HJ Res 38, and HJ Res 41. And I'm just going to go through a little bit. So HR 72, GAO. GAO stands for Government Accountability Office, Access and Oversight of 2017. It basically amounts to that Congress gets data about all the government programs, specifically things like food stamps and student loans and earned income taxes and things like that, like unemployment benefits and things. So I guess that's good. I mean, it's just more data collection by the government, federal government. Woo, great. But I guess they say it keeps them accountable. It was passed unanimously, I believe. So I don't know what to think about it. I guess it's just one of those things where it looks good on paper, but they're not going to do anything. Nothing good, at least. So HR 255, Promoting Women in Entrepreneurship Act. Like, wow, that sounds really good, right? No, because it doesn't say anything specifically that they're going to do. It's basically little solidarity act that for women to be entrepreneurs in STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and innovation. So if you look through, there's really nothing specifically it says other than that they support women's entrepreneurial programs. Basically, it just authorizes the National Science Foundation to support entrepreneurial programs for women. What does support mean? It can mean anything. So yeah, another thing that Congress is doing that's actually doing nothing but making them look good right now. Okay, S84, a bill to provide an exception to a limitation against appointment of persons as Secretary of Defense within 7 years of relief from active duty as regular commissioned officer of armed forces. This is just basically to allow General James Mathis, to become Secretary of Defense. The reason that they don't want that is, I believe Barry Goldwater in 1986. You'll have to look that up. I believe that's when he actually enacted this limitation. And the reason why is just you didn't really want a military person coming straight out of the military, becoming Secretary of Defense and controlling the military below the authority of the president. You want civilians to control the military and not the military control, take over. You don't want the military to take over. So how do I feel about this? I don't really care. James Mathis, I don't really like or dislike him. He does his job. We're an imperialistic country. Americans like fighting wars, it seems. I'm anti-imperialist. I don't like any empire, and so that's that. So I don't support this, but it doesn't really matter to me. House Joint Resolution 38 disapproving the rule submitted by the Department of the Interior known as the Stream Protection Rule. That means that coal mining companies no longer are accountable for any types of mess that they make, whatever that they do to mine coal, anything that ends up in nearby streams, lakes, rivers, whatever. They don't have to make sure that those areas are protected. You can read up more about it here or just look it up on Google. I'll provide all this in my description below. And of course, this right here, it talks a little bit about what this civilian control of the military from C-SPAN talks about the S-84. Now, the last one, I mean, I'm an environmentalist. I really want to protect the environment. I believe a lot of you also. So this kind of sucks. I do not like this bill. So we've got bad bill that does bad things right now. A bill that really protects about, you know, military control. It's somewhat bad. You got this wishy-washy little promoting support for women in entrepreneurship. Doesn't do anything. So it looks really good on paper. Doesn't do anything good in reality. And you got this whole government accountability office, you know, access and oversight, more federal data gathering. I guess it doesn't. I mean, it may look good on paper. Again, probably not going to be good in real life. So you've got House Joint Resolution 41 finally, providing for congressional disapproval under Chapter 8 of Title 5 United States Code, blah blah blah, of a rule submitted by the Securities and Exchange Commission relating to disclosure of payments by resource extraction issuers. That boils down to, and you won't see a lot of this on the news. Basically, it boils down to any American company that wants to purchase resources in a different country, they don't have to disclose that information to anyone. That's you. If ExxonMobil decides to buy tons of oil and gas from Saudi Arabia, you know, they don't have to disclose that. If another company bought, say, a whole bunch of oil and gas from Russia, you know, we have all these things like faux war, whatever, on Russia, you know, that doesn't have to be disclosed. You know, everything's going to be non-transparent. We're getting less and less transparent in our government. Now we're getting less and less transparent in what our companies do outside our country. Another bad rule, another bad legislation. So, this is going to be the strategy of Donald Trump. His strategy, he as a businessman, is about the brand. The brand looks good. The product is actually very bad. He makes millions of money from the brand and not necessarily what the products are. So you're going to see a lot of fluff bills. You're going to see a lot of fluff executive orders, things that look good and feel good, I guess. And then you're going to have some really, really bad stuff. And people are going to be like, you know, he did some good stuff. So there's always a balance. No one's going to always like, not everyone's always going to like every policy. So right now he's done some good stuff. He's done some not so good stuff. But what we need to focus on, at least in 2018, when general elections up and we can re-elect our state representatives and a third of the Senate, these types of bills matter. What gets introduced, what gets passed, and what becomes law. So if we want to actually, you know, move towards replacing our Congress, I mean, I think the polls were stating that the approval ratings for Congress was 10-18% in 2016, and we re-elected 93 to 98% back into office. So this shit is going on for another 2 years, and we'll see what happens in the next 2 years.